Anyways, in the building we have Art Morera.
What's up, Charlie?
What's going on, homie?
What's up, man?
Yeah, you may need to hold it a little closer to your mouth.
Ah. Okay, word. Does this sound better?
I like to think so.
Okay,
I
cool.
don't know if I'm more overpowering than you are.
Nah. I mean, just let me know. Because you can't get much closer than this.
I don't even know what to tell you.
All right, man.
Anyways.
It's a nice rhyme sayer shirt.
Yeah, man. I got this. When the hell did I get this? I think we went to see Brother Ali in like Orlando or something.
Nice.
And it was it Brother Ali, or was it when we went to go see Atmosphere with Blueprint? I don't know, one of those two shows or whatever. I was like, yo, I gotta get a shirt. And so they had a green shirt. It says Rhyme Sayers. It's kind of dope or whatever, and it's lasted. And you know, I don't like I take these shirts off and then I'll like rehang it or whatever.
Yeah, like you try not to wash it.
You try not to wash it. Also, you try not to freaking get it all stanked up or whatever.
Right. I know what you mean, because when you take the shirt off after wearing it and you just throw it in the hamper, like the rest of the clothes in the hamper make it dirtier than had you just taken it off and hung it on a hanger. And
I got like a whole system of because I need to buy some shirts, man. And like so at the end of the day, I'll look at my shirt if it's not dirty or whatever. I don't do a whole lot of sweating. I'm in an office, and like I'll take it. I'll put it on a hanger, and then I'll put it like all the way at the end, and then the next morning, like after doing that for a while, like that you'll see, okay, these 1, 2, 3, these are the ones that I used in these last few days. You don't want to look like you're fucking recycling your shirts every 2 days or something.
Oh.
So you got like the rest of them to choose from.
You have like a rotating wardrobe where like you open your closet and then you pull on a rope and it just like a
carousel.
Yeah, or like what do you call those? A slot machine
With some ballerina music. A slot machine.
It's just like an 80s montage music where like you try on a few outfits, you look in the mirror and like just shake your head no a few times, and then like after a while you like nod your head like, yes, this will be my outfit for today.
I like the slot machine. Analogy, because like you pull the lever and then like you get the thing with the 3 cherries, and then like, okay, this is what you're wearing today.
and you're like, I never match. You're like,
I would have never picked this combination.
That's funny. Oh man, but you know what, man? Like I'm getting more into fashion, Charlie. Like I'm like learning more about just color palettes.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm starting off slow, because one of the tips that they give you when you're learning how to when you're essentially learning how to dress is you have all these colors in your closet.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, first thing that we would probably recommend is to color coordinate like your clothing rack, you know, all the yellows, all the reds, blues, whatever. And then like, oh, you know what? Like if you're not sure how to, I'm not sure if you came over here so we can talk about clothing, but like
let's wrap it up, Morera.
Yeah. All right, but long story short, it's a nice shirt, man.
Awesome, yeah. I'm happy with it, man. I don't have many green shirts.
In 2003, when I went to the Atmosphere show in Revolution, I bought an olive green T-shirt that had the Rhyme Sayers logo with those 2 like animals. It's like that logo they have, the 2 animals like facing each other.
The lions or whatever.
Yeah. So I bought that, and that was my favorite shirt. Right? It was an olive green. It was like a Rhyme Sayers T-shirt. Awesome. I was doing graffiti back in that day, right?
Okay.
And you know, I'm such a fanatic for hip hop, and I had no foresight as to how long it would have been until I could buy another Rhyme Sayers shirt. I didn't really process that, so I would wear that shirt all the time. You know, whenever there was a hip hop event, that's the shirt I would wear. You know, and to me, going bombing was a hip hop event. So I would wear that shirt going bombing.
Yeah.
But like going bombing means sneaking through fences, jumping things.
Fucking climbing brick walls and like
Right.
clipping padlocks and throwing steaks to the dogs.
Yeah. Allegedly to all those things, you
Yeah,
know?
allegedly, of course.
And like,
that's how it would probably be done.
yeah, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
And then,
I have no clue.
So like, you know, I would imagine that one day I went through the fence and
And you got snagged.
I got snagged by apparently like the metal, right? And it poked a hole through my shirt and I didn't notice it, so I kept like crawling, and like me crawling ripped the hole, and I'm like, damn, not like, you know, it's now like my favorite shirt is ruined. And it reminds me of like that Dane Cook comedy bit for The Vicious Circle, where he's like, they're breaking into a home and his friend's like, I didn't know we were breaking into a home. This is my favorite shirt. And he's like, you're not supposed to wear your favorite shirt to a B&E. You're supposed to wear your second favorite shirt. You know? It's just like, after all these years, like that, those two events are forever connected to me because I wore my favorite shirt to go do graffiti, and like I was just,
It served its purpose, man. It served its hip hop purpose. And so what happened? Did somebody make you throw away that shirt one day?
my mom.
Your mom made you throw it away.
Yeah.
Like, oye, mijo, bota ese camisa roto. Yeah, I don't even know.
If I had closed my eyes, that's exactly how my mom. That's exactly how my mom sounds. Oh yeah, mijo, mijo.
Let me ask you. We brushed a little bit on atmosphere. What was like the defining atmosphere song that you're like, holy crap, this is like, these guys freaking get it or whatever?
I didn't know that all these songs existed in the same tape, because when I was first put on the atmosphere was God Loves Ugly. But that wasn't even the tape that like really sold me on his music. It was the tape before that, the Lucy Ford EPs. Are you familiar with that?
Sure.
It had, I don't know if it had the woman with the tattooed hands.
The woman with the tattooed hands. Dog.
There was that. And then the song that goes, woke up, got up around 11 o'clock, butt naked, except I was wearing my socks. And that's cool because most of the time this floor is cold. That song, like, was my go-to, like, on repeat jam, you know?
And was that God's Bathroom? That wasn't God's Bathroom Floor.
God's Bathroom Floor is another one.
I mean, I just know the name, and I know I used to jam God's Bathroom Floor like ridiculously. But like the lyrics
I made
of
a
it.
date with Divinity, but she wouldn't let me fuck. Hoping God help me change. Floor through the knife in my veins. Fuck needles. Fuck, man, my bad. I'm like blanking out, but
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
it, you get it. But man, I mean, what really sold me was the woman with the tattooed hands. When I heard that song, I was like, holy crap! And it just the way Slug paints it, man, and like you picture everything that he's saying, man, and like the tattoos jump off of his freaking hand, like I don't know, like he off of the woman's hands or whatever, and man, he just paints it, and it's like, wow, man, that's like one of the most beautiful, striking songs that really sold me on Atmosphere.
you know, like my favorite thing about Atmosphere as a group is neither how Slug raps or how he sounds on a record, or Ant's beats as instrumentals, but more how like they sound with each other, you know? Because as much as I love, because I rap, so when I listen to hip hop music, I prioritize the lyrics. That's what I pay attention to first, you know? So like it's not really about Slug's lyrics as much as how he sounds over Ant's instrumentation, you know, over Ant's beats. So like the way that the woman with the tattooed hands starts off with doom, 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 bum, 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 right? Like, and then it comes into the piano, right?
Oh man,
Like that. You know what song that kind of reminds me of? Like, a long, long time ago, I can still remember how that Music used to make me smile. Like that Miss American Pie, like that whole genre of like dive bar piano ballads, like that with drums is A&T to me, you know? And Slug is the guy at the bar. You feel me? So like, I mean, they don't sound like that no more. They've evolved from that. But like,
I mean, but that was definitely, man. You could feel Slug's passion back then. Like,
word.
wow, and he would say these things, and to him it was like, whatever, and it was like, damn, did he actually say that? And it was like refreshing.
Yeah, like he was definitely a breath of fresh air of like what an MC can sound like and what they sound like talking about the things he will talk about. You know, he's easily one of my biggest like influences, man.
And out of what state? What Minnesota?
Yeah, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Like, you know what's one thing that I appreciate about Slug, man? It's not necessarily just like his musicality or nothing. It's when you're going through something. When I was going through, bro, Charlie, when I was going through something, man, when I was dealing with things, music was my go-to. And you could listen to any album in all existence that you have access to. Nirvana, Linkin Park, whatever, you know, Tupac. Man, I would go to Atmosphere because it felt like these guys were in the room with me, consoling me through my problems. You get me?
Like they can identify with you.
And a lot of people everyone's going through something. Some people like to like numb it, and other people like to find peace with it. You know, like people have different ways to like heal. You know, and Slug and Ant, they made it a point to like make theme music for you to find peace with the circumstances that you're like that gets dealt to you. And when you're a kid and the girl dumps you and your friends they move away or something, or God forbid, your parents pass away, whatever it is, like I'd rather find peace with it than numb it out and look for some like outrageous like alternative to focus my attention on. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, nah, I just don't even want to think about that right now. And other people are like, man, eventually I'm gonna have to get back to thinking about it. Let me just, you know, sit in the room with this thing. To me, that's what Atmosphere, like think about the name Atmosphere, you know?
I mean, even the name, like, wow. Like for a while I thought the name Slug's name was Atmosphere.
Yeah, me too. A lot of people did. But then when I found out his name was Slug, I'm like, man, that's even cooler. You know?
Linkin Park. You mentioned it. I was never really into Linkin Park, but I will say that High Voltage with Pharoah Monch.
Oh, the remix? Yeah.
Oh man. Dog. Pharoah Monch.
Yeah,
Who's the man command you to hand over your Land Rover? No man's bolder than Pharaoh when you jams your plans over. I inflict sclerosis, the most ferocious. When I spy, my third eye is extremely high voltage.
Yeah.
That's why I use ruby quartz glasses, because when I glance, there's a chance that I might blast the masses. Subliminals transmitted through piano, integrated in flows, calculated in nano. And calculated in nano, man. Yo, Pharaoh, holy crap.
Yeah.
And just like his precision and his intricacy and how he bends his style.
He kind of reminds me of Aesop a little bit.
A little bit, man. Like,
you know?
Like Aesop and Pharoah Monch were definitely very influential in like my writing and style or whatever, because it's like so out of the ordinary.
Like if they were to come out with a project together, a good album cover would be like the Pharaoh carved out a rock. Because it's like Pharoah Monch and Aesop Rock, and it's like the Pharaoh carved out of a rock, you know? That'll be pretty tight.
I agree, man. Anything any project that would include Pharoah Monch and Aesop Rock on it, would be like epic. Would be like finding the sound bombing record.
Yeah.
Like
Man, it's bright in here, isn't it?
maybe
like-
I don't know. I don't know.
Damn.
It's as bright as it always is.
Man, I just love being illuminated, you know? Hey, man.
I agree.
But yeah, you know, man, like, so Linkin Park, right? So this is my thing with Linkin Park.
Okay.
Like, they came out with Hybrid Theory came out. I must have been, I believe, in 9th grade. And, you know, like, bro, so people like to trash Linkin Park because they're not metal enough. Hold on. Bro, I have somebody walking in right quick.
It's all good, man. Tell
me
them I
just,
said hi.
Okay, for sure, I will.
We'll be back maybe to talk about Linkin Park.
Hello. Word. Where were we?
I don't even know. We were talking about Linkin Park.
Oh yeah. Hey man, when you get a chance, listen to the song. It's called My December. This is my December. Man, one of their greatest. It's just Chester singing. Rest in peace, Chester. It's just Chester singing that song. Mike Shinoda doesn't rap or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That song is like easily one of my favorite records, like overall of all time. It's amazing.
Awesome. I think we should segue into something.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, I found out about Chester. He had passed away. I was locked up and I got the news through a letter, and then my friend wrote to me. And the friend that wrote me the letter is the friend that I enjoyed Linkin Park music with in high school. That I've known and have known him since 4th grade. I was unaware that Chester Bennington had died until I read the letter. And like
In prison?
yeah. And it's crazy because, like, you know, when one of your favorite artists passes away, you go and listen to their music, and you enjoy what they made. And I found myself locked up, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't go and put on my Hybrid Theory album. I couldn't do none of that.
So
you know?
then what did you do? Did you play it in your mind, or did
Yep.
you just like do something else?
No, I played it in my head, man.
Yeah.
Like, I sat there. Everyone else, because we all get our letters the same day. Mail call, you know, and everyone sits there and waits, hoping to get a letter. This is every day, you know, except Sunday.
Every day they're hoping to get a letter.
Yeah. Like at 5 p.m. or so, like the correctional officer would walk in with a stack of envelopes and call out names, you know? And it's not in order either. It'll be like, you know, this guy and then that guy, and then they'll go back to the first guy, and like some people will get a bunch of letters, some people wouldn't get none. Like I wrote like 20 letters to 20 different people, and I only got back like 2 letters a month later, you know? So imagine waiting like every day for like some type of correspondence and nothing.
It's crazy, man.
You know? And then when you finally get it, like I still have the letters I haven't put away. Like you get the letters and you see they're like imperfect handwriting, and you know? And like, you know, you read the letter like 10 times, you know? Oh, that was nice. Let me read it again. Straight up.
That's the entertainment. I mean, entertainment, but you're being thought of, and like this is a connection to the outside world, to something that I know in the outside world, like
Exactly.
like
That's the contact, you know? Like that's as closest to home that I would get in there, you know? And like so when I read that news, man, it broke me down, man, you know? And like you're in prison, you're not supposed to get emotional. But like I just couldn't hold it, man. I'm like sitting there like trying my best to like hold it in. You know how like you open your eyes wide when you're trying to hold back the tears, and you like lean your head back to like push the tears back to wherever they came from, you know? Like, man, nothing stopped those tears that day, bro. And like I'm like, damn, Chester, bro, he died, man.
How old was he?
I don't know, bro. He was like in his late 30s, something like that. But like, I recited music their music in my mind, you know? And then I got out and I saw, like, by the time that I had gotten out, the news of him passing was already old news. So I had to like YouTube, I had to YouTube like the news and go back, like old newspapers,
Yeah. Let me ask you. There's young artists, there's young people out there that are trying to make things happen, and they're trying to get there as quickly as possible. So like, they're trying to make money as easily and as quickly as possible to achieve something or whatever. And I don't know, man. They take risks. I don't know. What can you elaborate on that?
Man, okay, you talking about like
What we had talk a bit about this before. I don't know. I guess I want to talk to you because I feel like you have a lot of stories and a lot of insight that maybe many others either have not gone through or can relate to, or can get a little bit of guidance of what to do or what not to do. I don't know.
Word. Well, look, I will say this, man, and this goes to like anyone, like anywhere, at any point in time, because this is going to be a universal statement. Above and beyond all things that are important, the number one thing that a person should preserve is like their peace of mind. And when you are going through a rut, whether it's financially, man, I was going through some money problems. My music career hadn't taken off when I thought it would and should have, And then everything else started to crumble around me. Relationship issues. Long story short, like, when you feel like selling pounds is a good idea, like, in that moment, it's going to truly feel like it really is a good idea, And there are people out there that are like, hey, man, it's going all good for them, because there's this stigma. They're like, well, you obviously weren't good at it if you got caught, right? That's like their rebuttal. Like, if this was a rap battle, and I'm the one telling them, like, I got peace of mind, I'm not selling pounds. Like, their rebuttal to me was, that's because you were bad at it, And the crowd will go, oh, however they choose to set it up, But like, in the back of their minds, they know that they wish that they didn't have to do that, Because now every time they get in their car, every car around them is a police officer. And every time they answer their phone, every staticky little bump, every little click is the feds listening to you, And paranoia is like a weed in your garden. Once you get a little paranoia and you don't recalibrate your life to have no reason to be paranoid, that paranoia will grow. And it'll continue to grow, and you will like come to terms with the fact that you're living with paranoia. It doesn't make it go away. It makes it get even bigger, because now it knows that you're okay with it being there, And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and before you know it, man, who knows what that can do to the psyche, Like, you age faster. Guess who knows, man? God forbid, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if like paranoia leads to like schizophrenia or something later on in life, because you always feel like you're being followed, Like, so my advice to anyone that is like struggling, trying to make it, is keep fighting the good fight. The same energy that you can put into selling pounds, you can fill out job applications or like, like hustle your music or whatever it is you do, like whatever it is you do, as long as it's legal. You feel me? Not to sound like a square, but like, hey, living life like a square is a lot more appealing after you realize what prison is like, you know? And I never thought I'd have to eventually have to incorporate that into my life story. But man, that's what happened, bro. It's crazy. All I ever wanted to do was my music, bro.
And I feel that. And I agree with you. There's people out, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I think some people out there will be like, man, but it's like not moving fast enough, or putting in job applications or whatever for something that's like $9 an hour or whatever, $7 an hour or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the lack of opportunity in the country, or not making the best of decisions, like direction to go. Making the best decisions with the cards you've been dealt with. I don't know, man.
Man, like so hip hop, right? Hip hop has this. I have this. Okay, like I love hip hop. You love hip hop. We love hip hop. Hip hop has grown to be the most influential and popular genre of music, and ultimately culture in the world, right? And out of everyone in the world, there's an overwhelming majority of poor people, The majority is poor. Hip hop appeals to the come up, the struggle. It's unfortunate that hip hop took something like a word like hustle, which means bust your ass, and gave it the stigma as like, yeah, hustle, drugs, like it becomes this revolving door of like, yo, I want to get myself out the hood, so I'm gonna sell crack to do it. So how selfish is that? That in order for you to take care of yourself, you got to doom everyone else, like, and that hip hop encourages that, so like, when you're in a rough circumstance, I empathize with you, because I don't want anyone to have to like struggle where like, yeah, it builds strong character, but then it like strips away your quality of life, where what good is a strong character if you can't even apply it in an honorable way, And like hip hop, I love hip hop, but like it has this like mentality has contaminated its people, Hey, like shit, man, like whoever said that getting a regular job is corny, like don't listen to that guy, like don't listen to that guy, bro. Hey, not only get a regular job, if you're young, bro, don't throw your life away. Kids are going to listen to me saying this, and I'm going to become uncool until they get to 40 years old, and they're going to be like, nah, he's true what he was saying, Like, bro, if one job ain't enough, get two jobs, Buy and resell sneakers. Selling sneakers is the same thing as selling pounds, You buy cheap, sell expensive. It's the same thing, but it's legal. And you get peace of mind, and you always have nice shoes, Or like, what are you good at? Oh, music. All right. Sell beats, Like, monetize what you're here to do is like my whole thing, I'm blessed, bro. I could be in prison right now, Charlie. Like, I've only been out for a year. I made a year in October, and we're in November. And my max sentence was 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, even if I was given 5 years, that's only a third of the max time that I could have gotten. And if I would have gotten 5 years, I would still have 4 years to go in there right now. So you know how lucky I feel? You know, how like this is a blessing, bro. I've come out with 2 projects. I did a podcast. I'm here talking with you right now. You got a Rhyme Sayer shirt,
I agree.
and I don't, because I went,
Hey, you
allegedly doing graffiti.
you're working. You could buy one off of the site.
Now I'm gonna go to the Atmosphere show, like
Yeah,
coming up.
that's the only official way to.
I'm definitely
to do
gonna
it.
get it.
So, you were looking at potentially 15 years,
Yeah.
and what okay, like what was? Can you get into the story, or you just like want to keep it moving?
I don't mind. I mean, it's on you, man. I can talk about it if you want to go there, and I'll tell you a couple stories from it, or we can. Whatever.
Okay. You made the decision at some point that selling pounds is the way to go, and you pursued that.
So, like, when I went to California, it was to work on a project. When the project ended up coming out, I did a whole project. Afterglow was recorded in California, but
Studio in there or like a house setup?
hell no, it wasn't no studio. It was like a makeshift studio. It was like we were in this. California has a lot of like wooden houses. They're not cabins, because cabins you think of like the logs stacked on top of each other and makes like a room. This is like a full blown house, but it was, what I'm saying, made out of wood.
Okay.
So on the second floor, like we took some air mattresses and propped them on the wall, and that became the padding.
Okay.
And I had my mic stand with my mic, whatever. But there was no acoustic treatment or nothing. Like Alpha Beat mixed and mastered the whole album. I don't know how he did it, because the acoustics in that room, it was like a closet. It was not good, Like thank God for the Chaotica eyeball, 'Cause
You're using the eyeball out there?
no, not out there. I bought it like, bro,
That's a recent.
almost 3 years later. Yeah.
That's a recent purchase. More recent.
Yeah, like I've had it for maybe like a year and a half, or maybe a little bit more than that now.
Okay, you recorded the album in a house out there with mattresses on the wall, and you're in a closet. And okay, so you're out there.
Yeah.
What's it like? What's the mindset?
Well, when you're out there, like so I'm out there and I'm wet behind the ears of what it's like to live in Humboldt County. I'm thinking this is kind of like an indie venture, Like I'm an indie artist. I have somebody financially backing me that believed in me. And to this day, like that's my brother. I love him, But the stars just weren't aligning for us. So less and less activity of music was happening, and more of just the regular Humboldt lifestyle. And the Humboldt lifestyle is like you trim weed, you make bubble hash, whatever. You do the main like crop there is wheat, is marijuana, and everything that's involved in it flourishes in North California. You get me?
Okay.
So like I started to become less and less active as an aspiring recording artist, and more of a I got bills, bro,
So you're in Humboldt County. You're in a. So is this the time where California has legalized, or
No, it wasn't legalized yet. It was
so
still.
this is before any medical or recreational or any of that stuff was legal.
It wasn't recreational yet. You still had to get your 215, and you had to get approved. Like, you talk to a medical doctor. I got approved when I had the interview. I was approved to get like my card or whatever. But so the whole thing is like, bro, like I'm a grown man, and like I was there with my ex-girlfriend, the producer that was rocking with me, Nixon. Like he tried it out there, but we're all adults with bills. Like we quit our jobs to go out there and like be funded by this like investor that wanted to like see me succeed, and then like, you know what I'm saying, make it with me. It didn't happen, and then I like, you know, I long story short, man, because I'm not gonna put nobody out there, including myself. Like, it ended up not working out, and then I found myself in North California without a support system, and I had already been there for like 6 months, like frequenting the supermarket, the bar. It's a small community, so when someone sees you for every day, every few days, going to the same gas stations, the same supermarket, bar, whatever, you're like, you start to become a little bit more and more of like a local there. So I found myself like without a support system, living out of a hotel. They charge $100, $111 a night. I had to come up with $111 every day for a place to sleep. And it's not just me, it's my girl at the time, my homies with me. So what do? You know? So one day I walked into one of the bars, and I just kind of like, yo, Joe Schmo. Hey, bro, what's up, man? You, what are you working with? And they had already known me for like, they had known of me, you know? So like, when you see someone every day, it's a lot more comfortable to open up to them than someone you've never seen before. And that's why I felt so comfortable approaching a complete stranger that I see every day, but I had no business speaking to. And whatever, man, they you know, like they felt comfortable enough to show me what their inventory. And man, I had to make plays. You know, it becomes you connect dots. You know, well, this person has this person needs this. You become like a broker. You know, and you start off small, and then you get comfortable with that small amount. It's like running a mile. You know, you run a mile every day until you know you can handle a mile. Then you try going for 2 miles, and then you can handle 2 miles, and then you whatever. So eventually, man, like, without getting into too many details, because I guess that's what my music is for, you know? Like, I eventually got arrested for driving across the country. I got arrested in Missouri with 20 pounds of weed.
Yeah.
You know?
20 pounds, man.
Yeah, 20 pounds of weed. It was a lot. Like, so apparently I was the bust of the month for this small town.
The bus of the month?
The bust. Yeah.
Oh,
like,
the bust.
I was the bust of the month in Rockport, Missouri.
Did they have like do they have like they take your name and put it on the paper, like the bus of the month?
Nah, let me tell you something, man.
And
like,
everybody's like, oh, let me see who's this month's.
Yo, like I'm gonna tell you something, man. Like when I was bailed out, I had to fight the case for 7 months. Hold on, give me a second. Hello.
We taking a pause.
You had no idea the scary person that was next to you for like 20 seconds. Hello, how are you? Your car's not working? Okay, what room are you in?
There is a scary person outside the window. We're back.
That's your intro bumper. Dad sounds.
Maybe not. I don't know. My dad's sounds.
Bro, that homeless guy. What? Give me a second.
We'll be back. And we're back. That was Art's future dad sounds.
Look, man, that homeless man. You were
Describe it for us, please.
okay. So I'm telling you, before we had to stop recording, I'm telling you about whatever it is I was telling you about. and
Okay.
I see the guy and you don't see the guy.
No,
And
I have no clue.
because you're sitting across from me. And so, okay. So for the listeners, we're recording this at the front desk of the New Yorker that I am currently employed at, right? And the layout of the New Yorker is like a fish bowl. There's like a lot of windows, you know. In the daytime, a lot of sunlight comes in. So anyway, you're sitting by a window, looking at me.
Yes.
I'm looking at you, and I see all the windows that you're sitting around. You don't notice that the scariest homeless guy, the scariest looking homeless guy on this side of North Miami Avenue is like pressing his face and his dreads on the glass and like grilling his surprisingly white teeth, looking like fangs at me, trying to possess me. Like he's trying to like take control of my fucking spirit, bro.
It's surreal. It's surreal. And I have no clue this is going on. I'm like, yes. This story is very interesting. All right, tell me more.
And you're like really into the story, right? And I'm like, yeah, bro. And I'm like talking to you, but I'm looking back at him, and we're like in this like not a tug of war, but like a push of war, and who's going to like he's not gonna take control of my fucking spirit. And I'm like looking back at him with he's giving me
He will not take my spirit.
That's what I'm
I am shielded.
I'm communicating with him.
Bro, so he's like grilling you or he's grilling me?
Both of us. And then like while he's doing that, like he's like you can hear him go like a zombie, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is straight up The Walking Dead. I'm not even gonna lie. And like he like put his hand on the window, like I'm coming for you.
Yo,
you know?
and I have my headphones on. I'm looking at art, like the light is all shining upon him, and then like to my back, which might not be the most safest knowledge of self wise, but yeah, like I'm next to these windows, and so yeah, like I don't know, all I see is in my peripheral is just cars going by, and then I have the headphones on. And we're talking, we're having this freaking this conversation about what happened or whatever, and then okay,
I don't know,
some interruption happened or whatever, and then you had people that come in at the front desk asking for like to shuffle their mail or whatever, and then he's like, or it's like, yo, there's a guy next to you.
You might not have even been there. It might have been a shadow figure.
Bro, okay. So I was like, yeah, and then okay, I turned to the left and I see, this guy with dreads. Did he have a shirt on?
So you did see him?
Yeah. No, I saw him.
All right, so you agree?
Yeah. No, I agree.
This guy is the scariest looking guy.
Have you seen him before?
Yeah, he sleeps across the street comfortably too. Like,
holy shit.
Yo, he knocks over. Okay, like the dog parks have the little doggy bags. It's like a dispenser, It's like on a wooden post. Man, someone's been knocking them down. This is the thing. Like the fact that like someone's been knocking down dog posts. It's like whoever this person is a very mad person,
Angry with life, and I don't know.
And then it's like, all right, I suspect it's homeless people that's doing this. And if it is homeless people, I know there's only like 12. The list narrows down to 12 culprits,
So vagrants, homeless people,
and like really, I got my money on that guy. This guy is like possessing souls and knocking down dog posts.
I wonder if he like walks up to people and grills them like that, and then like. I don't know.
You know what? This is the thing, bro.
But I did see him. Like after you told me, I looked, and for like a good couple minutes, he was out there. He had these these crazy dreads or whatever. I wish I would have taken a selfie with him.
Bro, this is the thing. Nah, stay away from him. This is the thing, bro. Like, you probably would have taken a selfie from the other side of this glass, you know? So look,
I would have been like this.
Yo, look.
Boom. Yeah, right there.
Hold on. I gotta paint you this picture. So we're talking, and I see him from the distance because I think he walks around in a bathrobe that he wants to make it seem like a cloak, you know? So he like, from the distance, I see his silhouette walking closer, you know? And then I saw in his face the gears in his head turn when he sees that I'm talking into a microphone with someone here at the front desk, which is you, right?
Yeah.
And then while I'm talking with you, I see this happening in the background, and you see him like his intent becomes to like taunt us, you know? Wow. So he went from just walking on minding his own business, seeing that we're up to something and being like, souls. You know? So like,
bro, how long was he there trying to take your soul or whatever?
Like, no exaggeration, like 40 seconds. Like, that's 40 seconds. I'm like, yeah, bro.
You're telling me this story. I'm like into it. I'm like, yeah. You know, tell me more. What's going on?
Yeah. And then like, I don't know if you noticed, man, like I started to get a little bit less and less comfortable telling my story, you know? And then like by the grace of God, these two guests walk in, the guests that walked in, and I'm like, awesome, a reason to turn away. And I turn away. Oh, your room keys aren't working. Well, how about that? You know? And then when I look back, he's gone, man.
He got this. The spell broke or whatever. Like,
yeah, bro.
He got distracted. Okay, I'm off to grill about something else.
He's like a cobra, you know, that like hypnotizes its prey with a stare.
Bro, so he was staring at you for 40 seconds, like as you were talking and telling that story.
Yeah, me, and then he'll like look at you and growl like this guy, bro. And I deal with this shit every night. I had this one line in a song that I wrote. I go, and outside all night's even crazier in Castlevania. Like you know, I'm talking about this. I go, and outside all night. I go, café con leche. I'm on my way to the paycheck that we receive every 2 weeks from the machine that we rage against. The cage that I'm within ain't spacious. And as I pace back and forth, it's like the floor is even more slippery than that of a glacier. And outside all night, it's even crazier than Castlevania. Sometimes I want to find a lasso and hang it up, because I became an asshole that complains too much, was never thankful enough, afraid of guns. Because if I had one in my hand, well, look up the meaning of an atrium. And I keep going, you know? But like, it's homeless people like that it's like Castlevania for real, you know?
Yo, what a vivid freaking story. Dog, it's like your window to the world right here, man.
I would like a different view, but like I work with what I'm given, you know?
Yeah. It's definitely like fishbowl-esque.
You know, it's one thing I'm looking forward to.
Of like some sort of protection or whatever, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
like I feel you, but like okay, so this is the thing, right?
I don't live it here. You're like fucking grinding it here. Like,
all right, so I'm on probation, and the shift that when you're on probation, it's like by law you have to have a job and a place to live. You can't get you can't, if you violate your probation, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Don't violate your probation, right? One of the things as part of my probation is like, I can't get into no altercations. I can't get into no fights, no nothing. Mm-hmm. So here I am, like trying to keep the peace here at this hotel. Mm-hmm. And I got necromancer homeless people like wandering up and down the property.
Necromancer. That for real, he was scary. But I don't know, like it broke his hypnosis or whatever. Whatever his focus was, and then he was like, kind of like stirred and like going away a bit, and then like, all right, he went.
But the thing is this, man, is that if one of those guys walk onto the property, I have to be like, yo, get off the property, you know?
Yeah.
If they don't respect that, like, I gotta handle that.
Yeah.
And even if I were to like, worst case scenario, or like theoretically, best case scenario, I just call the police. on this crazy homeless guy. It's gonna take time for them to respond and be here. And in that time, whatever this guy wanted to do is gonna do it. So I've had nights where like drunk, angry, drugged out people that aren't homeless people. They're just someone on something strong too, tall, strong, angry. Walk really fast down like the hall here by these rooms, circle around, and like I know this person doesn't have a room here because you know what I'm saying, like
Because
like walking around 4:00 in the morning, shirtless, sweaty, screaming, like stomping. I'm like, yo, this guy is tweaking out on something. It's my job to go out there and be like, excuse me, you got a room here? And the guy will turn around like, no, I don't got a fucking room here. What the fuck do you want? And I'm here like, in my mind, I'm like, man, I just want to fucking rap, bro. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like,
I don't get paid for this.
but I do.
Yes.
And I'm like, yo.
I get paid for this.
That sounds even worse, you know? It's like, I'm like, well, sir, I need you to get off the property. Oh, word? And he starts like charging towards me.
Yeah.
This is the thing. If I get into a fight with anyone and I'm on probation, even if I'm defending myself, until I prove that I'm defending myself, I go to prison.
Damn.
You get me? So I've had to like square up with a few, bro, I'm talking about 4 a.m. Everyone's asleep. I'm the only one awake on this property, you know? And I'm like, oh, word? We're going there? Like, in my mind, that I have to square up with this dude. But then when this dude sees that I'm squaring up with him, trying to square up with me, like I'm not backing down. He doesn't know that what's going on in my mind is my freedom's at stake. All that he knows is this fool it's like squaring. This happened like in February, you know? And this dude like puts his set down and like starts like cursing me out while walking away because he didn't want no smoke, you know? Thank God, bro.
Is that what he said?
No, that's the term in young youth.
Gotcha.
Like
Okay,
when you don't want smoke, that means you don't want problems, right?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Duly noted.
Let me write this down. And yeah, you pull out a big feather.
A quill.
A quill, yeah. All right, so whatever, man. Like, so I've dodged bullets like that working here, and that's just a tweaked out guy. Imagine like a scary ass homeless dude. Like one of my worst fears, honest to God, is getting into a fight with a guy that's been homeless for a while. You don't know if these guys have an STD in their blood or some crazy shit. And what do they got to lose? Nothing. What do I got to lose? Bruh, being someone without an STD in my blood from getting this guy's, from punching his face and knocking a tooth out, he starts to bleed. I scrape my skin, you know?
Yeah.
So like, when I see scary ass vampire ass niggas, like grilling his fangs at me, and I'm like, please get off the property. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, just get off the fucking property before and like, I'm about to get one of these dog posts and just beat you over the head with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, whew, man. But you know what, bro? I'll tell you something though, man. Like, I'm here every night. You following me?
Every night, man.
I haven't had a day off doing this for like almost like 7 months already, you know? And like every 7 nights a week, you know? I haven't been able to go to no hip hop shows. I haven't been able to do whatever people do on a Saturday night. Like they do that and I'm here, you know? So like all the homeless people and all the junkies and shit, like they know to expect me to be here. So like we've actually made peace with like, don't mess with this place and I won't mess with you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Man, I just want to rap. I can't wait for like in the future when people play this back and be like, damn, before Art Morera got off the ground, you know, before my wings grew almost enough to lift me.
Yeah.
Like I was here dealing with.
You're like at the very edge of like, okay, I know part of my restrictions is that I can't get into any altercations or into a fight or whatever. and I'm at the very edge of like having to defend this property that's not mine, that I get paid like whatever X amount of dollars to survive here, and I'm having to defend with my bare hands, and ideally not have to use my bare hands because I don't need any of that. You're like at the cusp, at the bleeding edge of like standing at the wall. I don't know, man. It's epic. It's pretty epic, man.
But listen,
but
man.
damn, dog. Yeah, I definitely feel you, man. I'm right here with you.
Hey, but like not all homeless people are like bad. Like the guy I was telling you about before we started recording, like the TV will be on and I'll look to my right, you know, because like when I'm facing the computer of the front desk, I'm telling this for the viewers, you know, because you're here.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm sitting at the front desk, the computer screen and the TV are, when I'm facing forward, this is what's in my field of view. And then in my peripherals to my right is the glass and then the outside, you know? So I look to my right and the TV's on and I'll see this tall, lanky, homeless dude watching the TV from the outside. And then he looks at me and like goes, like to like the TV, like, man, something's going on in that TV. And I'm like, yes, that's true.
You guys agree, non-verbally.
Yeah, I'm like, man, it's true. Stuff is going on, you know?
Oh, man.
But whatever, man, like, you know, like when I got out of prison, when you're on your way out, you have to get approved for this thing called a home plan. And a home plan is like, you meet up with the staff in the office over there in the prison. They're like, hey, so where are you going to be at during your probation or your parole? Mm-hmm. Oh, I want to live at such and such address, my home, or let's say you don't have a home, my girlfriend's house, my dad's house. Like, but they'll qualify you to be like, well, you have to be with family, or you cannot be with family. Whatever it is that they qualify you to, like, you know, to be able to live in, right? Mm-hmm. I couldn't live around anyone in my family that owned a firearm, had alcohol in their, or any weed, and no one can live with under the same roof of another felon. So like, I'm not saying I have felons in my family, but like the other stuff, bro, people in my family, they own firearms. Mm-hmm. Bro, I'm like, people drink. So like my list of possibilities really narrowed down to like one relative, which is my uncle and my grandfather and my aunt in Vero Beach. And I lived there for like 3 months. And it was there when I finally got out that, like, you know, Vero Beach is tight. It's like a retirement small town, 2.5 hours north of Miami. Mm-hmm. The internet's fast. The beaches are empty. There's ample parking day or night. You know what I'm saying? Like, the women are pretty. The people are nice. The thrift stores are cheap. A $6 shirt here is 75 cents over there. Mm. You know? Like, I'm just saying, like, whatever it is that you're into is more accessible over there. Unless if what you're into is like clubbing and being a rapper and being popular amongst the hip scenes like Wynwood and shit. Mm-hmm. So when I was there, bro, I must have written and recorded like 50 records, produced, recorded, everything, 50 records, you know? Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, yo, I'm not really making that much money up here, man. I'm kind of getting a little bored up here. Let me see if I can move back down to Miami. So I called here, the New Yorker. Hey, are y'all hiring? You are? Okay. How would you feel about me?
You called different hotels?
No, I just called this one. Okay. And I was like, hey, are you hiring? And they're like, yeah, you want to come back here? And I'm like, word, yeah, but listen, I also need a place to stay. I'm just letting you know. Is it possible if maybe you can let me have a room and maybe you can take some money out of my paycheck? You know, I know you always have rooms available. Let me occupy one of those rooms so you can make money from this room. And then I can have a job and a place to stay. And they were like, yeah, that works out. So that was like a cool little chess move. Mm-hmm. I tell my PO, he approves it because I could live anywhere in Florida without having to see the judge to get approved for that. Man, I can't wait to get off probation so I can stop talking about this shit, you know? But like when I came back down to Florida, to Miami, I'm like all excited. Yeah, I could make moves, the Miami music scene and Catalyst and all these. Yeah, I could reemerge, take over in my mind. Bro, none of that stuff has happened. I'm literally just here every night. Which is when I learned you want to take over, you want to take off, utilize the internet. And if I would have been okay with just utilizing the internet, I would have stayed my ass in Vero Beach. Just get a little apartment there, be at peace, not have any distractions, any headaches, no werewolves looking at me overnight. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Was that a first? The guy that was
No, bro, this is like 3 nights a week. Like, I'm about to give him a name.
with the same guy.
I'm gonna call him like Chepe or some shit, Nah, not Chepe. Chepe came to my mind, but that's a guy that works here. He's a cool guy.
You should ask him his name.
I don't want to know his name, bro. But like, you can't look at you. Hey, but listen, man, like I would have stayed in Vero Beach. Like this whole Miami music scene thing is a revolving door. And I know this because I've been involved in it for 10 years. And I've met everyone. I have extended my hand to everyone. I've taken the initiative, like, yo, you're dope. I know you know that I'm dope. Because I am a firm. If there's one thing, how some people are like, they're like, oh, stay modest or whatever. Listen, man, one day I'm gonna be dead, bro. And they're gonna listen back to everything that I ever did, including this podcast that I'm doing with you. Bro, nobody raps better than me. Like, if there's one thing in my life that I can be confident of, it's my skills on the mic. You get me? And like,
I agree.
No, everyone can be great. Like, I'm not trying to get higher than you. We're like on a sphere. So when you face straight up, you're not parallel to me facing straight up. You get me? So let's try to outdo ourselves instead of each other. But if we truly had, if I had to stand in front of anyone else and be like, spit your best verse, their best verse will not compare to one of my verses. You get me? And like that, I can stand confidently on that. But even with that being said, like I reached out to everyone, bro. Yo, what's up, man? You're dope. Hey, you're dope, man. Like, let's build. Before you know it, 10 years are gonna go by, and you're gonna be wherever you are in your career, and so will I. You know what they did better than I did? Everyone that's taken off from Miami in the last 10 years, they maintain better relationships than me. Because they're smart enough to not tell someone else, you ain't better than me. But I couldn't hold my tongue. I was too proud when I was younger.
Was that the battle mentality, or was that just Art Morera's mentality?
It was probably the battle mentality. But me too. I'm gonna take accountability. Yeah, it could have been from battling, but like that mentality just became me. Like I wanted to be the best, and even though I think I'm the best, I can't like belittle anyone else.
So what? You think that you hurt your relationships by being competitive like that? By wanting to be the best?
I think that I became smug earlier in my life. I don't think I'm that way anymore. I think that earlier in my life, I became entitled, smug, bro, like too cocky for my own good.
What?
And like it probably rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And I don't blame them. Because if I was them and some guys popping off the way I was, why would they, you know what I'm saying? Why would they want that around them? I don't even blame them.
What do you think made you feel that way, or I don't know, like be that way? Like what was driving you?
I think that like what kind of like put a chip on my shoulder when I was younger is that I felt qualified to get certain opportunities that were being presented that other people were being picked for because they were more buddy with people.
Okay, so you felt you had a chip on your shoulder because somebody else that was like kind of in your same position, like what, like was able to capitalize on an opportunity because they were buddy.
Like I started to get a chip on my shoulder because we're all filling out this job application,
Okay.
but I'm more qualified and I didn't get that job. And I'm talking about hip hop. You know?
Okay.
I felt like I was more qualified. Like, okay, hold on. Like, what we talking about? Rap? We talking about live shows, freestyle, battles, ciphers, camaraderie? What are we talking about here? Because I check off all those boxes. You know, like, is there a box there for feeding you when you wanted food? Because I could check that off too. You know.
So okay, and then what? You checked off all these boxes.
Yeah.
What was your conclusion?
I think that like
Or what was the reality of it?
I think that okay, let me think about this real quick. So like you know, man, like my first tape came out in 2011, but before that I was in this group. Before that I was battling. Before that, whatever, high school, right? Like, an artist blows up when he makes really good music that resonates with an audience, markets himself in an appealing way, has a team behind him or her that like helps, man the wheel. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you stay consistent, put on a good show, prioritize like your relationship with your fans, and you just keep on trucking. Years go by and it keeps growing and growing. Like, but I was not easy to be around, you know? Like I would get mad easily. And like I said, who wants to be around that? So I lost managers. Or like attempts at managers, which really were just enthusiastic homies, you know? Give me a second. Hello. Let's see.
Check. Did it? It's okay, Freddy?
Is that yours right there?
Yeah, it's good. I'm gonna Freddy. Here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thanks so much.
No problem.
Just it.
So man, like, you still recording?
Yeah.
So like, bro, I just became difficult to be around, bro. All this entitlement, you feel me? It's like, no, man, I'm dope. Time is of the essence. Let's not waste time. We need to do it now. You know? It just made bad calculated moves.
Entitlement because
I wanted to feed my family
okay.
off of music, and I wasn't doing that. And time is going by. My grandma's getting older, you know, and I want her to see me successful. So I started to get this, bro, like time. I have this verse where I kind of talk about it. I go, if I don't make it, my life is wasted. The concept of time fucking drives me crazy. I give away some of it, decided to wait while cleaning my glasses, try to find some patience, blindly chasing. While feeling like I'm being followed, this happens to me simultaneously. Like every moment I slack came back to me as an omen and slapped me in my face with the hand of my teenage self from Barbara Goldman. Like Arthur, yo, I was the man. I had plans when I got older. I used to battle rap, practice with the homies. Some of them abandoned it and lost their passion for it totally. Meanwhile, I think of lines while I go to sleep. mumble rap, so to speak, before I slumber. Eventually arrive at the dream I chase as I fall under. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm obsessed with making it. And I have tossed everyone else to the side that wasn't trucking along with me. So at the end of the day, all I have is this dream I have and no friends, you know? And like those are the chains that I drag with me, you know?
So, are you talking about before you went to prison or now? Like after?
Everything is before,
Okay.
you know? This is like chapters that,
So-
you know?
So the people that have gravitated towards you to try to help push the music, push the agenda. I don't know what you felt like they weren't moving fast enough, or that I mean what would you be angry about?
It just didn't matter. Like, it was just everything.
Okay.
If it wasn't this, it was that, you know? And I was never satisfied. I was never, you know, bro, if I had the same attitude I have now, back then, things would be different. Because I learned since then. And I didn't learn back then, so I took everything for granted. I took friends for granted. I took all the efforts that my ex stuck out with me with for granted. Because in my mind, we're going to be together forever anyway, you know? Like, don't worry about it. Yeah. You're going to stick around, right? This is my mentality with her. And then with other friends and peers, was like, yo, stay on point because we can't afford to mess up. And that pressure makes people crack. And then also like my tyrannic way of like steering this ship, like who would want to be on that, you know? So man, like right now, that's why I'm so thankful to not be in prison right now, because I have the opportunity to start over with this new appreciation for like every moment that I have with everyone, you know? Like, I even appreciate other people's rhymes that I'm not impressed by, but I know that they are. And that's enough for me to appreciate them writing those rhymes. You get me? And it's like one of those like, bro, good for you, man. You know? I know what that feels like to think you killed that verse, you know? And then that type of attitude results in now I got a whole playlist of collabs and everyone does good, you know? And eventually, like, everyone's gonna keep it moving. Like, that's what like Transit City is about. Like, being at peace with knowing that eventually things will end, you know, including relationships, which is what makes it so special when they don't end yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah. I know, man. I know I'm an overwhelming person, bro. Like, I know I am, you know? It's not easy.
I don't even know. Overwhelming, like I don't know.
Like one of those, like
that you're talking about, like that. That's how you how you've been, and that's like push people away.
it's overwhelming because, like, when you're feeling like Sonder, you know what Sonder is? Like, Sonder is when you come to terms with knowing that every other passerby is living a life just as complex and as vivid as your own is. You know? So like your life is just as crazy as my life in its own way.
You said Sonder?
Sonder, you know? Like, my life is crazy. Your life is crazy. Damn, life is fucking crazy, you know? Like, but you are much more composed while while I choose to like be more outspoken, but your life is just as crazy as my life. So that's why I'm overwhelming. Like if your life is just as crazy as my life,
Mm-hmm.
and you're barraging me with as much as I am to you, I would probably be getting overwhelmed. You know? And I'm aware that I can be overwhelming.
Like knowing who you are,
Yeah, just being aware. Like
being aware of yourself. I agree, man. I mean, it's very difficult. I want to know myself, and I want to know what I can do to improve on myself, and yeah, man, it can be difficult.
yeah, it can, man. You know what? You know what I feel like makes it even more difficult, and it's like an unnecessary like strain on that concept. That like nowadays there's so much misinformation that you don't know what is a trustworthy source to like do research on, so you can learn more about yourself. You know? Like, oh, I'm thinking these things. Let me look that up, see why. And then you get these articles. And some of them, they all make sense, but you don't. Some sway this way, some sway that way, and like you don't know what to trust in. You know, then you pray to God, and like you turn the internet off, and you're like, oh, okay, now I got the answer. Like, I find a lot of peace when I pray.
What time is it, man? It is 1:47.
Yeah,
Yo, man, I like being here and talking, man, and hearing your story, man.
bro. Like, there's so much detail that I left out that like really that is what the music is for. Like already a couple times in this conversation, I had to reference a verse because it's there, you know?
That's like your I don't know, man, like your fruit or like
It's my craft.
your craft, but like what you've I don't want to say what you've produced
Yeah.
because
No.
it sounds kind of like it's what he produced, but it's like you squeeze the coal and then you a diamond, like after 1,000 years or whatever of pressure,
Right.
boom, we got a diamond, man. I don't know. That's like all the pressure and all the crap that you've gone through and that you're going through, and your obsession of making it, and that's one of the things that I admire about you, and one of the things that inspires me about you is like you've been tenacious. Even I don't know. I mean, I know you going away was like a big chapter, man. But it's like, okay, you got out and boom, you keep going. Like you hit the ground and okay, you hit the ground, boom, we're running. And I don't know, man. That's been inspiring. And your podcast, the Medianoche podcast.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna keep going with that because I'm not really trying to become a podcaster, but
I don't know. I think, and maybe yeah, man, I believe I recall you talking about only doing a few more or like I don't know. Talk.
yeah, I would like to see it as like it's just a collection of like conversations that I had, you know?
One of the reasons why I'm starting to do this is because I don't know, man. The conversations, it's like you're documenting history. You're documenting a person at this very moment in time, and then what we can look back on it, and then learn more about how was this person? How was my grandfather?
That's
know,
what's
man.
gonna bug people out. Like 40 years from now, 50 years from now, like everyone's grandkids, are gonna like
50 years from now.
are gonna look back and be like, damn, my grandfather was tight. You know, damn, my grandfather. You know what? I don't think that Art Morera is better than my grandfather at rap. You know, I actually I prefer my grandfather. And I'm gonna be like in heaven, like, good for you, kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's about, man. Like, acknowledging other people's like their own capabilities, and like being like, you know what, man? Like, let's capture this moment in a jar and just talk about.
Yeah. But it is inspiring. Well, we have so much talent in Miami and so much history, and you have you have a lot of relationships, or at least people that you can reach out to, and people that you reached out to, and you've done a bunch of how many interviews so far?
Bro, like 27.
27, man. I mean, that's not a little bit, man.
I know, and I don't know if I want to keep doing. And I did a couple more that never came out. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna put those out. They were a little funny.
I mean, I will say that I do appreciate listening to the Medianoche podcast, but I will say that you need to know exactly what is it that I'm supposed to be doing, and then like everything else, like cut it. I mean, I don't know, man. Like there's a few creative outlets that you can exercise. I don't know, man. I've had to cut so many things from my life, so many interests. Maybe I'm speaking for myself, and maybe it's not like this for you, but I'll get into like a particular style of martial arts, or get into something else, or like some style, like, oh, I want to paint again, and so you start fucking painting, and it's like, okay, what do you? Like, I'm still trying to find what is it that I'm supposed to do, like. What is it? Is there a single thing that, like, okay, you're in your lane, nothing that you can do is gonna like derail you off of that, because you're so much in your lane that like that's what you're supposed to do in life, and do that only, or it's just like a collection of things that, oh yeah, you know, he was an artist, he was, you know, he can rap words together.
I think it's the second one, like a collection, like Forrest Gump. Think about it, you know. Forrest Gump just decided to do something and went super hard on that. And then one day decided he was done with that. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to do this now. And just went and did that. And at the end of his life.
So it's going from one thing to the next,
But going super hard on it. And getting just like obtaining another skill. Like, man, the capabilities, bro, of the human brain, bro, of the body. Like God, bro, like God gave us this, like, just this, like, super powerful operating system, you know, our brain and our bodies, you know, our imagination, like,
so
know?
Okay, so was the podcast thing, I don't know, man, because I feel like you're not done with rap, or like, I don't know, man, it's like I feel like you're at your point of mastery, or at least kind of like up there in your skill level or whatever. So is it just like, okay, is it going to come to a point that you're like, okay, I'm done with that, I'm off to do something else and to master that? Or is it just like, okay, I'm just taking a break, and yeah, this thing is kind of interesting over here, let me entertain this for a little while?
You know, man, like, I like to create. I'm a creator, you know? And like music, like when I was a kid, I drew, you know, I drew a lot. Now I do music. I did a podcast just because I had all the equipment to do a quality podcast. And it was also a cool way for me to reconnect with people, because I found myself being really alone. And I was like, you know what? Let me give people a reason to come over, you know?
Sure.
Like, how can I turn this and turn hanging out with someone into a win-win, you know? And then the Medianoche podcast came out. And shout out to that name. It's the tightest name, you know? Like, and then like, you know what, man? I need videos done. Damn, these videographers, they be charging a lot, man. I guess I'm going to have to learn how to do that. And then I learned video. And then when I learned video, I started to appreciate and I understood why they charged what they charged, you know? And I'm like, okay, well, I want to get good at that too. And all these things it's not to take attention away from, in fact, it's the contrary. It's to bring attention to my music, you know? Like,
So you mastered the peripherals.
yeah.
And to shine light to what's really important to you.
Yeah, because again, one day, like, bro, I'm not gonna be here, man. One day I'm gonna be dead as fuck. One day I'm not gonna be alive anymore. And I want, when people look back at my life, to be able to say, damn, like, art went super hard. I want my blip on the timeline to be a big one. And even though I want it to be because of rap, I want to be a good I want to be remembered as a good person. And then secondary to that, as a good man, secondary to that is like my music, which is like the talent that I cultivated, you know? And then in assistance to that, like, if the music is the Michael Jordan, the Scottie Pippins and Dennis Rodmans was the videos, some podcast I decided to do just because I wasn't ready to release a project. And then Mac Miller passes away. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to release a project on behalf of Mac Miller because I was such a fan of him. I put out Good Grief. I love that project, you know? So it's like, really, it's like, how am I going to continue to show that I am active and actively, like, creating dope shit? Which is why I know you're not going to like this. Like, this is why I love Kanye West, like, what he's doing, you know? Like, aside from just focused solely on creativity, you know? Like, this guy, Kanye West, is the prime example of unmarginalized creativity, you know? First it was rapping, then it was producing, then it was back only to show that he can rap too, you know? Then stage art, like Shakespeare, you know? Stage design, clothing.
Stage design.
Yeah, you know? Like
what? Like what?
Like, all of his tours was like a play, you know? His tours wasn't just him on stage rapping. It was huge screens with visuals that create this mood and this aesthetic for the music, and he creates an experience, you know? Like, you don't just release a project. You make the music, you put together a project, you hired the illest visual artist that fits the album cover, fitting, you know, for the project. You think of the illest way that you could introduce this music to the world with some event, some spectacle that people can, like, tell their grandkids about, like how we talk about Michael Jackson and, like, Prince. Like, he wants that. And that's why his concerts are like the most memorable experiences. And everyone that attended that show, their quality of life goes up because they were there. And they can look back at that night and be like, man, that was one of my best nights of my life. You know? It ain't about Kanye at that point. It's about what he does for you. And that becomes about you. You know? Like, my music, my music, I do it for me. But what good is my music for me if it doesn't help the person listening to it? Now it becomes about them. Because, you know what I'm saying?
I think at some point you're gonna have to run me through, like, sit me down and run me through why you're such a huge fan, which is wonderful.
That's fine. Kanye West's music is like a box of crayons, you know? You know those boxes of crayons? They're like 32 crayons. You see all these different cool shades, you know?
Sure. Uh-huh.
It's like he has an album for, like, he has a song for every color, bro. You know? And then every song, like opens this door to a hallway of like a plethora of other inspired artists that get their take. Like they color in their sheet of paper with that crayon, you know. And you have all these drawings from that same inspiration, bro. Kanye West is like easily the most inspiring artist to me. Like Jay-Z's the best overall rapper. Eminem is the craziest wordsmith. A$AP Rocky is an alien disguised as a fucking middle-aged man. Like Slug is like one of these like I don't even know how to describe Slug. He's a slug, you know? Like Kanye West is this guy is a fucking astronaut, bro. You know? And me, I'm like, I don't even know how to describe myself, man, yet. But like, bro, like my name is art, bro. I am art. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want what I do here to be remembered as like remarkable, man. Which is why I beat myself up for being so difficult to be around. Because in order for me to obtain those heights, I need a team. And I have misused people that were willing to be my team. You know what I'm saying? That's like what my challenge, you know? Oh, someone's coming here at the door again.
Cue that noise. Hello. Check. Check. Y'all hear me? That's my dad's freaking cough right there. If I've ever heard it in my life, that was it right there. And we're back.
Yo.
Wonderful. We got Art Morera in the building. We were just going over some of his Seal Rock lyrics. The brother is definitely very, very, very talented, and has a good amount of projects out for you to enjoy.
For now.
And yeah, for now. What? Yeah.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows what's happening with Spotify and Apple Music?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Where do you think music should be available? Like, as a safe space to go look for it?
As a safe space to go look for it.
I don't mean like liberal safe space. I mean like where is a space, where's a place that it's guaranteed to be there?
Any music or what? Or discovering new music or discovering old music, classic music? What? Like what?
Like Spotify is a company owned by somebody.
Okay.
One day he might just be like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. Ends it. Walks away.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I think there's too much money involved and too many people at the table that where one guy would say, you know what, we're not doing this anymore. Let's shut the doors, and Spotify no longer exists. If it no longer existed, I don't know. I think if some sort of legal law comes into play in regards to I don't know, man. I mean, when adversity comes, whether it's legal stuff or whatever, yeah, you adapt. And I think a company like Spotify would just adapt into whatever the next generation of music and entertainment consumption is.
Okay.
Like a big company like that.
Yeah, like I don't see Spotify going anywhere anytime soon. I guess like what I'm trying to say is like if an artist's music is on Spotify, that's truly not fully independent because they're depending on Spotify to have their music available on there, you know? So like that's why like some artists they still say, man, you got to buy the CD. Like I don't care. I'm not gonna be on Spotify. You got to buy my CD or my record. Like Tool, the band Tool. You know Tool, right?
Sure.
Like they don't have their music on no streaming services at all.
Mm.
You know,
And they keep putting out new music,
I'm not in the loop.
or it's just their catalog, or what?
Yeah, like none of their musical catalog at the moment is available on Spotify or Apple Music. None of that. Like if you want their music, you gotta like go to the record store and buy the record. You know,
Mm.
and they're doing it from like a principle standpoint. You know, so I mean, I'm not really trying to like, go down that music industry route. Like I hate talking about the music industry. You know, the inner workings of, man, do you remember like 10 years ago or so, or maybe a little bit more, where like the conversation was never about the actual business. It was only about the music. You know?
Is this back when the goal was to get a record deal?
Yeah, I guess. Or like even like, man, I remember like I was watching Revenge of the Robots, the DVD of LP in them, and like
Yeah.
and like LP, like the only talk of money in that whole thing was when he was like, I can't believe that that we got booked for 500 pounds. You know, I haven't performed for 500 pounds in 10 years. You know, like whatever, like him like committing to performing at a show, getting paid much less than what he's valued at that time. In that whole DVD, like that's the only mention of music business, you know?
So, and that was LP saying that.
Yeah. Like the rest of the time they're talking about just music or like life, you know?
So to him, 500 pounds at that time was like nothing. Is like okay. I mean, what is this? This stuff is so hard that I have to take this show and do it for 500 pounds because stuff is wrong.
No,
times are hard.
I think if I recall correctly, like
Shout out to LP.
shout out to El Producto, man.
El Producto.
What a cool name too. Like he's this white dude, you know?
Yo, you gotta be a badass to carry the name El Producto.
Hey, who is this guy? Oh, me? I'm El Producto.
and then you short like you're like a Don, like you shorten it to LP, like it's ELP.
Like LP should do something with Linkin Park.
It's like saying the P, like I don't know, like it's like
Who am I? I'm P. You mean, oh, you're the P? The one and only.
the epitomized P letter. It's like, okay, there's 27 letters in this alphabet. Okay, I'm taking this one, and I'm the one.
It's like, hold on, you're Master P? Well, I'm the P.
They would have to battle it out for the name of some sorts. Anyways,
I would put my money on LP.
Awesome.
But yeah, man, like these guys, there was a point in time where like no music business details was like revealed to the public. That wasn't really like, or very little, you know.
But I don't know if that's what made it fascinating. At the same time, that like just to get a little morsel of the secrecy of like how to make it in the music business. And you hear about back in the days, everybody was trying to get a record deal, and if you knew like the whole music the music business, the law aspect of it or whatever, you're like on some next level of
Right.
and that was like an air of mystery that I don't know, man. It's almost like the knowledge is forbidden or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, like back then, to be like educated in the music business puts you like miles and miles ahead of just the average consumer. Whereas now, the average consumer buys into your artistry because of your business ethics. You know, like, oh, this guy, he's dope, and he does good business, in the music industry. I like this. I feel safe spending my money with this guy, you know? Whereas like back then it's like this guy is the illest and that's all that mattered, you know? Like this whole at one point in time LP and Aesop Rock were working together and at some point down the line they fell out over some reason. Like that detail has never been made public, so it's not like common knowledge. I'm sure some people know why, but like that common knowledge, I mean that not being common knowledge enabled both of them to still be that enigmatic like good dude, you know? Like they can still on their own merit be looked at as someone that, you know, it's not looked at in a negative way. Whereas like
You think that's different now? I mean, it's a different day, different age.
I think 50 Cent got everybody looking at numbers. Even Joe Budden said it on Who Killed Hip Hop. He's like, who killed hip hop? Was it this guy? Was it that guy when they did this and that? And when he got to 50 Cent, he said, oh, I know what happened. 50 got everyone looking at the numbers. And it's true because when 50 and Ja Rule were beefing, like 50 Cent went on Hot 97 and he had like a stack of papers, which was a sound scan. And he was like, all right, let's see who's really selling records here on the mic at Hot 97, live on the air. He's like, all right, Jadakiss sold this many. Hold on, where am I at? Okay, I sold 11 million copies. Ja Rule. Wow, that's all you sold? And he like will say the numbers, you know? Fat Joe sold this. Like he would only mention his enemies at how little they sold compared to him. So then everyone started to look at, wow, like, hold on. Like, are you good stock? You know? Like, if this was the stock market, if hip hop was the stock market, like all these other guys are being looked at as like less than like not valuable. So why would you want to spend your money on a plummeting stock, you know? And that's what 50 did. You know? And now everyone's like that. Like that's why you see like Billboard sales are becoming a thing. Drake's has 1 billion streams. And it's like, what an amazing accolade. But that song, does that mean that this song is better than my song? Or Aesop Rock's song? Like, okay, Aesop Rock got 70,000 plays in the last couple days. Does that mean that his music is nowhere near as good as 100 million plays on this song? It became a popularity contest, and you know what I'm saying? Like
It is a popularity contest, and it's also who you have behind you and who's on your team.
Back to the team, you know?
Who's on your team? Like
Yeah.
Action Bronson, his like manager or whatnot is like Eminem's. Like they share the same A&R or whatever, and it's like damn, dog, it makes sense.
It makes sense. He is 100% a worthy like follow up after Eminem, bro. Like this dude, there's only 2 rappers that when they say that they can make me laugh in a hip hop song. One is Eminem. She's in the bathroom. I think she's taking a crap, dude. Like when I hear that, like you're giggling, you know? It's just such a funny fucking thing. And then Action Bronson will say, "Shut the fuck up and eat your pudding." Like,
Action is he's definitely a character, man.
He is, man.
He is a character, and it's like sometimes I don't know, man. Like he wins you over with his boyish charm, or what, I don't know, man. Because I mean, his mouth could be filthy, man. And it's like, yo, I don't know, man. Like it's not like necessarily something you can sit there and enjoy with your wife or whatever. Like watching this guy, but at the same time, he has that side which I don't know if it's the food and food brings people together, but like he'll make this amazing looking stuff or what, like as a chef or whatever, and like damn, dog, it's like all around. He's like,
Yeah, he's like, I'm good at everything. and I've done everything, and I've lived, you know? Like he'll talk about like just the most rarest fabrics and the most exotic of foods, and you know.
But and also he's like the perfect quintessential like New York shit talker.
Yeah.
Like the epitomized shit talkingest shit talker from New York that's bred and like
No, and also like he also adopted that whole like mafioso thing, you know, like he'll say on this one song with Mac Miller, he's like, um forbidden jungle in my joint paper, point shaver, you know? Like forbidden this he's talking about weed. Forbidden jungle in my joint paper, point shaver. Like hello. Yeah.
action is definitely an entertainment, just an entertaining individual.
Man, like his first show, you know who put me on to Action Bronson? H2O.
H2O also put me onto Action Bronson.
You know? This was back when he still had the short beard, and he had came out with that music video where like he murders his girlfriend.
Like with the wig,
Yeah.
like he has the wig on or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's like a white guy's wig or whatever that's like blonde, and then he's like in like a 70s blaxploitation kind of looking kind of movie.
Yeah, like she's like dead, and he has like this big kitchen counter he's cutting food on. She's like this dead body, whatever. So like,
Oh no, so it's probably a different video, but yeah.
and like H2O was working with J5 and Alpha Numerics, right? J5's cousin is Berto, who has his clothing line Reflection Dynamics. Berto wanted to raise the awareness of his brand Reflection Dynamics, right? Thank you so much. All right, safe flight. Thank you. So he wanted to like raise his awareness of his brand, Reflection Dynamics. And he's like, you know how I'm going to do this? I'm going to put the money up to book Action Bronson and bring him to Miami, right? Somehow, some way, Berto got in talks with this girl named Ashley Outrageous, which is like this young, hip, super cool chick that like she does that. She's like a brand ambassador. She has her own brand, whatever. So it became Reflection Dynamics and Ashley Outrageous presents Action Bronson on his first show in Miami, right? But like,
I think I was there.
yeah, like he almost didn't make it. Action Bronson almost didn't make it because he was in the hospital, and like he came and he had like the hospital band still on his wrist, you know.
I recall that.
And but Ashley Outrageous got all the praise for this show when, unless if I'm misinformed, which I don't know why. I mean, people lie, but I didn't get the impression that I was lied to. Berto, or like Reflection Dynamics, the brand, had like paid to make this happen. You know? But he didn't get none of the recognition for it. You know? Because of politics in Miami, whatever. So it's like Action Bronson's first major show in Miami was partially because of H2O.
Because he sold
The idea
to J5's cousin.
to J5, which went to his cousin, which put the money up because he saw a mutual interest of like raising awareness of his brand. And you know what I'm saying?
So what I'm seeing here is that like H2O is like the Kevin Bacon of like you could connect any world event or whatever, and it comes back, and you know who sold that insurance package to that guy? H2O.
H2O. Hey, and you know what? Low key, like that literally is H2O. Like he is at some point or another like responsible for degrees of separation, you know? It's crazy. But like, yeah, man, like Action Bronson. I really want to work with Action Bronson, man. I always wanted to work with Mac Miller. I always wanted to fucking get in the studio with Mac Miller, man. And be like, yo, well, we can make some really dope shit, man. And God bless his soul. He died, you know? So like, man, I really want to make these things happen. I want to work with Action Bronson, and you know who else I really want to work with? Aesop Rock, bro. I want to get on a record with Aesop.
I mean, that would be a dream of mine for me to work with him. You definitely. I don't know, man. That it will be the next level stuff. But you know what? If I really wanted to, I could probably work with these people, but it would probably be more on like a design kind of tip or whatever. Like I don't know. Like let's say if I did like a bunch a bunch of pro bono graphic designs or drawings, or like put my time into that, and like just doing concept art for Aesop Rock, concept art for fucking Eminem, concept art for anybody, like any of my Pharaoh Monch, any of my favorite all time people that I would love to work with. That's like how I would probably end up having the avenue I would have to take, and then also like show them that I'm a dope MC, and then I might be able to make it happen that way.
Right. Like
Not necessarily that I want to go that route, because I wish I could, man. If I had the time, man.
that's like how Scam 2 here in Miami. Scam 2 did the album artwork for the Slim Shady LP.
Yeah.
But they also got a record together with him and M.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, that's one avenue I could take. But it's just like, man, having the time to dedicate to design and art and ideas of that nature or whatever. It's like, man, I don't have time to even live, man. I barely have time to sleep. I'm in demand. But at the same time, I mean,
That was a low key stunt. You know, I don't have any time. I'm in demand.
I'm in demand.
You are. Hey man, but you know what, bro? Like,
That's terrible to say.
no, it's not.
That's not terrible
If
to
anything, say more. Be like, hey, bro, like, I just had an interaction with Decal today because I wanted Decal to do an album cover, and like, we had a full blown conversation about like fitness after him telling me how much he charged and how backed up he was on just pending work. Like, he just wasn't available. He's like, bro, I'm sorry. The next 6 months I'm swamped, and I'm there's this big thing coming in that I might be swamped for a whole year.
Yeah.
But yo, what's going on with your running? You know, like, you know, so Decal's a good dude, man.
I'll ask you off mic how much he charges, just so that I know. But yeah, I'm kind of getting into that point with my time, man, and like I got clients that, like, I don't know, man. There's old projects that need updating with code and stuff, and I don't know, man. I like to think that I wish I could do more design work or artwork or painting or watercolors or whatever. But man, it's so time consuming, man. Maybe before I had kids, I don't know, man. You got all the time in the world or whatever. After, it's like, yeah, I mean, you're dedicated to them, and that's a whole other story, you know, whole other tangent to get into. But
I was just having this conversation, this topic with a friend of mine. I'm not gonna say who it is, but like, okay, so Kanye West has this line where he goes, "My friend showed me pictures of his kids, and all I can show him was pictures of my cribs." You know, like I have friends that have kids. They show me pictures of their kids, and all I can show them was like a picture of like my Ronin S, you know, or like I can show them a new track that I made. Like my grandmother, like my dad, and they're like, "Hey, eventually I would like to be a grandparent to your kid," you know. implying like, yo, hurry up, you know, like reproduce, you know. And sometimes I feel like rushed to start a family, but it's not because I want to be a dad. It's because since I'm yet to blow up in my music, like starting a family will be oh the next best way to like create something that like my family can be proud of, you know?
Mm.
Because if I was rolling in the money right now, they wouldn't be too concerned about me having a kid. Like I already became successful in the other aspect of my life, like livelihood, you know?
Mm.
But since I'm yet to do that, they're like, okay, well, hey, good luck with the music. What about a family? You know?
Mm.
And I'm yet to do that. So now they're like, hey, how's it going at your job? How's Morty? They start to, you know, like settle for less and less expectancy when they ask me like, what's up with me, my department, you know?
So do you feel that puts pressure on you?
Hell yeah. Like, hell yeah, bro. God forbid something happens to like my grandmother, my grandmothers or like my grandparents or my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want them to see me successful before they bro, mortality is crazy, bro. Like when I get into the when I get into it with like my dad, you know, like I take into account his whole life and not only like everything he's been through and everything he stands for, but also the fact that he is aware that he's like 60 years old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yo, you don't understand. Like, I'm listening to you saying these things that, you know, aren't the most flattering details from he's telling this to me, you know, in his own way, which I'm not going to repeat. But like what he's not saying, what he's not verbalizing is what he's actually revealing. Like he's letting me know, yo, bro, like I'm getting old, bro. Like I don't need this right now. And all parents are saying that, you know. Moms are a little bit more passive about it because, you know, whatever. I don't understand women, so I'm not even gonna try to explain my mom's logic, you know, or a mom's logic. But dads, like the provider, and they're aging, like my grandfather, bro. My grandfather, he doesn't cut grass. He doesn't. He's like a lawn maintenance guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't do it for the money. He does it like so he stays active.
Mm.
You know, because once he stops doing it, like what else is he gonna do? That's when your body really deteriorates when you just don't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
How old is your grandfather?
bro, like in his 80s.
Mm.
You know, already losing his memory. Like I'll have to like remind him things 3, 4, 5 times. You know,
Mm.
but like it's funny because when people are at that age, like when you're 85, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you see yourself being interested in the petty things that people that you love are like experiencing, or do you foresee yourself being too preoccupied with like the afterlife that you're about to sooner or later like dive into?
I don't know, man. I think we all, as we age, have to come to some understanding of okay. I don't know. Like at some point, I'm gonna die, and I don't know. I don't know how preoccupied I'm gonna be at that time when I'm 80, thinking, man, I don't know. Am I? Is it going to be a couple years? Do I got a couple months? I mean, I guess it also depends on my health and what the doctors say or whatever. You know, I don't know. We don't know how we are going to be at that time. Ideally, we take care of ourselves, which is almost wishful thinking to some degree, based on what we eat and stuff. But what was it that you were asking me? If I was going to be preoccupied with death
Or in the moment like
or in the moment of
of life of living, like with your annoying ass nephew is like telling you, and today I went to the store and they didn't have the shoes and that I was looking for, and you're there like this old ass man, like, boy, if you don't get the fuck out of my face with this, like, what analogy I like to compare this to, like, again, in Shelter Cove, right, in California, like, so Shelter Cove, right, they have these signs all over the beach. There's two beaches because you have your north and south, like, like sides of the town, because it's right on the northwest coast, right? On the south beach, on the southern, like, little beach they have, it's cool to jump in the water. It's straight. On the north side of the beach is Black Sand Beach, right? And there they have all these signs that say, like, don't get too close to the water because sneaker waves will get you and they'll, like, suck you into the ocean, And there's this really deep drop off where the water's like a current. So think of like this huge wave comes in, splashes on the whole shore, and as it gets sucked back into the ocean, it takes everything with it. And then that water, like, because of the current of that beach, like, plunges down like 200 feet because there's this really steep drop off, like 50 feet into the water. It drops down like 200 feet.
Yeah.
And, like,
I can't even imagine
so, like,
being sucked into like the ocean like that, and then having to open my eyes, and then I'm thinking being sucked down 200 feet.
and it's like super rapid too. And the deeper you go, the water pressure, it's just so fast. This motion that I'm telling you, it's taking me longer to explain it to you than it actually happens. Like, you get like hit with this wave. That wave sucks you into the water, and then it like sinks you into like the bottom, and then by the time you come back up, you're already dead.
Yeah.
You get me? So there's all these rest in peace signs that says rest in peace this guy, that guy. Like a picture of a guy with his dog because he was walking his dog on the beach and the wave took him. So, like, if by the grace of God you survive that, are you gonna be like you're gonna try to be swimming back to the shore? You're not gonna be like, oh well, let me just enjoy the horizon while I die. You're gonna be like holding on for dear life to, like, the shore.
That like the imagery to me, like, I don't know, man. I see like a violent ocean, like a kraken that comes out and freaking grabs you and then pulls you down like in an instant.
Very accurate. That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, I had this line in Paper Boat where I go, as a kid, my dad would say, don't forget to hold your breath before I dove in the depths. I suppose he meant into the water, but really it depends. As we age, we venture further into the deep end. So it's like when I'm old, I'm gonna try to be staying on the shore, even though I'm like being sucked deeper into the deep end. I'm gonna try to stay in the moment, knowing that eventually I'm gonna be taken.
I like to think that I would say that I would do the best that I can to like enjoy the moment, and whether it's a nephew or a grandchild, that's telling me, I don't know, about their day, about them going into the store or whatever. I don't know, man, because I see my kids now, and then I love to hear them talk, and hear their voices, and their mentalities, and what interests them. I me at my age, I'm really trying to enjoy the moment with the people that I'm with. So ideally, I'll be able to carry that on into my 80s. And also, I'm sure I'd be concerned about death or whatever, or like looking over like standing at the shore close to to the to the waves that are eventually gonna suck you in or whatever. Enjoy the moment, man. I mean,
And that's it right there, man. Like, the moment, like being aware of how quickly that moment could be just taken away, which is what makes it so special. Like, Yo, man, like speaking of that beach, black sand beach with the sneaker waves, like no one caught this except for people that live in Humboldt County. I have this line in this song, "Free Man," in my project 1202, right? 1202. I have a song called "Free Man." The last line of the last verse, I go, I go, uh, man, like I'm not gonna explain the whole record. You just gotta listen to it. But like the last line, I go, um, my life could have been a day at the beach, but this game was like a sneaker wave. How it came and just took me, you know. And I'm talking about the weed game.
Mm,
Like I just got sucked into the weed game, you know. And like the same way how like a sneaker wave just takes you.
mm,
You feel me? It's like my life could have been a day at the beach, but this game was like a sneaker wave. How it came and just took me. And like people
mm,
here, they don't even like you that line. Like you have to be from Humboldt County to like understand to catch that. You know?
hmm I agree, man. And on that note, it is 3:18 a.m. in Miami. Do you know where my children are?
It's 4:30 a.m. Do you know where your head's at?
I don't even know. We got Art Morera on a late night, Friday night, 3 a.m. podcast. 3 a.m. That's like past 12 a.m. and like
Well, it's 12. It's 12 a.m. in California.
Perfect. Damn, I'm tired, man. I really enjoy being here, and I'm very glad that I uh I was able to sit here and kick it with you, man, and ideally put this on record and see where this takes us, see where this takes me. I got a bunch of people that I'm very interested in talking with them and hearing stories about the 60s and 70s and like I don't know, man. Let's see what the future holds.
Hey, man. Yeah.
What else is there to say?
Oh man, this is so much. But sometimes it's just cool to just all right, bro. That's it. You know.
I agree. Art Morera in the building. Z boy Charles Fast in the building.
The vampire is not in the building.
Thank you for listening. The werewolf has gone to go kick down more dog dispenser poop bag dispensers.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man. All right. Transit City.
Transit City.
You know what I'm saying?
Where can they find you?
Here, bro.
They can find you at Hotel New Yorker.
No, only at the time of this recording. Because when I'm off probation, I'm hitting that road. But yo, thank you, man. Charlie, bro.
Yo,
Love you, man.
we got to do this again. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna we'll definitely have to do this again and more often and see what happens, man.
I'm with it. All right.
All right. Peace. Thank you for listening.
Peace, y'all.
We out.